Yeah, those are really nice.
Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Join me in welcoming Bob back into the studio for these reviews. Bob, good to have you.
Good to be back.
It's been a year,
Yeah?
a little more than a year.
I mean, we did like the ski test little videos, but...
True, fair enough. I
Yeah,
don't think we've
really.
done this format for at least a year. And this feels like a fun one to kick back off in two-person review format.
Yeah, I mean, lots of interest in this thing, too. You know, we definitely have seen from just the feedback that we've gotten from Media Day, ski test,
Yeah.
online comments, that this is something that people are interested in.
Yeah, so this is the new Black Crows Serpo for 2022. Pretty cool ski. In the written review, I mentioned, or kind of introduced the idea that, you know, like I personally tested over 100 skis this past year. You probably did too.
Yeah.
As a company, we tested like 400 something different skis. That's a lot of skis, and to me, like certain ones are more memorable than others. And this one sticks out as a memorable one for me, partly because when Black Crows showed up with this ski first, like somebody handed it to me and was like, "This is going to be our most popular ski," which felt like a bold claim.
Right.
So that's why it's memorable to me, and it's a pretty cool ski, and I can totally understand why they think that, and I think I agree with them. You know, a lot of people like I think the ski that would stop is the Atris,
Yeah.
because people love the Atris, but this has a broader appeal for sure. So this is the Serpo. Not to waste too much time. Last year, around this time, or even a little before this time, we talked about the Black Crows Justice. Actually, I think the review was even just this past fall. But Black Crows came out with the Justice a year ago, essentially.
Yeah.
And this is the Serpo. And there's a lot of similarities between the Justice and the Serpo. And there's a lot of similarities between those two skis and the Orb as well. So the Orb is 88 underfoot. The Justice is 100 underfoot. This Serpo is now 93 underfoot. So it does kind of feel like a mini collection of skis, those three. There are some differences between them, which we'll get to. So construction of this thing is pretty straightforward for the most part.
Yeah.
Poplar wood core, fiberglass, and then they use their double H-shape Titanal plate. So basically, you get full width metal underfoot. You know, that's something that we talk about a lot, whether it's Rustler construction or K2Y beam, or there's a lot of skis that use full width metal underfoot, and then in this ski, the metal kind of just is along the edges through the fore and aft of the ski, or fore and aft sections of the ski, and then that metal ends basically right where the rocker starts in the tips and the tails.
Yeah.
So poplar wood core, 2 sheets of H-shaped metal, and some fiberglass. That H-shaped metal is it's becoming somewhat of a Black Crows theme, it feels like. We're seeing that, you know, before we started filming, you and I were talking about the Ferrex Freebird, which doesn't use H-shaped metal, but it's kind of got a similar H-shaped theme to it. And then I mentioned that metal starts and stops where the rocker starts, and that's kind of where this ski differentiates from the Justice a little bit. So we do get pretty long, progressive tip rocker, but not as much tail rocker. So if you remember the Justice, that ski is pretty strong, pretty powerful, but it's got those like pretty pronounced tips and tails. Especially the tail. Like to me, the difference in tail rocker between the Serpo and the Justice is really noticeable.
You would expect to see the tail rocker on a Justice be more on like a 106 or a 110 or something like that, not a 100. So it is, you know, it's just a little interesting to the eye.
Yeah.
It makes sense when you ski it. You know, it doesn't feel like it has an absurd amount of rocker in the tail. It feels natural for the ski. And I had a similar feeling with this one as well. But yeah, you would expect to see that amount of tail rocker on a wider, more playful ski.
Yeah, that Justice shape.
Yeah.
So definitely some similarities between Serpo and Justice, but differences too.
Yeah.
And I feel those differences when I ski them, and I know you do too.
Yeah.
So just kind of take me through your impressions of this ski as a groomer ski.
Well, it's funny that you talked about how this was a memorable one for you, because I actually honestly pretty much forgot about it until you posted that video of me on Gondolier, I think.
You're like, oh yeah, I did that.
Skiing this, and I was like, oh, okay, that was that ski. You know, like you said, and when you do 100 of them, they do kind of,
Sure.
you know, some blend, some stick out, some you totally forget about. But I do remember having seen that video now, that how energetic that it was.
Very.
I found the Justice to be a little bit more like, I really enjoyed rolling that thing edge to edge and feeling the power of it. This one, I more enjoyed putting my input into it and getting that energy on the back end of the turn. So I really enjoyed the snappiness of the tails of this, and not having the metal in the shovel, you know, having that down below the rocker where the rocker line starts does make it easier to initiate the turn. So
Totally.
you get that nice entry into the turn and then a real strong kick out of the turn. And, you know, you really feel the energy, you know, pushing you into the next one, which, you know, for even when we say for a ski this wide, you know, at 93 underfoot, you get a really good amount of feedback from it.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely think that's a noticeable difference between this ski and the Justice. Yeah. Justice feels like it has more of that, like, plow through things characteristics, where this has a little bit more finesse to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really think, like, I want to kind of just do a quick demonstration. Like, it's not a tremendously stiff ski, and I do think not having the metal up there in the tip, it allows for, like, some creative skier input. And you can kind of, it's the type of ski where you can really, like, leave your own signature on the slopes, so to speak, which I think is really fun. On the other side of the spectrum from that, you know, I do think it's, like, adaptable, and it's got some suppleness to the tips and tails. It's pretty darn strong underfoot.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't feel a lack of edge grip necessarily, which I suppose may have something to do with me being a lighter skier. I suppose you could put a heavier skier on this, and with the softer flexing tips and tails, you might find a limit of edge grip.
Yeah.
But it's a tough limit to get to.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think too many skiers are going to get on this ski and be like, that's not quite enough for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a strong ski. You've just got some suppleness and some quickness to it that the Justice, I don't want to say it doesn't have, but it has in a different sense. Like, that extra tail rocker in the Justice allows for really easy smear turns. Like, you can release the tail edge really quickly. This you can make, like, more different turn styles on it, without too much skier input, if that makes sense.
It does, and that, you know, this is the 180, and it has a 20-meter turn radius.
Yeah.
So that's right in that mid zone of, you can make short, snappy, quick turns, or you can open it up.
Yeah.
So it has that versatility in the turn shape, like you were saying, for sure.
Now, kind of taking that into off-piste terrain, what do you think of this as just a true all-mountain ski?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to give this another shot in the bumps.
Yeah, I don't think you ever had a chance to, like, specifically ski bumps on it. Some kind of S-turny nosedive stuff, but
that day that we were out with Black Crows, I think there was a -50 wind chill up top.
I got frostbite.
So it was, like, my joints felt pretty stiff.
Sure.
I think I would like to have a little bit more of an opportunity on a more normal winter day to get this thing in the bumps and trees, but from what I felt on the Groomers, it's going to do just fine. You know, no hesitation to drive the tips into the front of a bump.
Yeah, not too stiff up there, so it's not punishing.
Yep, and not too, and then on the tail end too, you feel good about pushing it down through the trough. So I wouldn't think there's any issue with this in the bumps, and then in the trees as well. You know, super quick.
Yeah.
You know, light in the tips and tails, pretty low swing weight for what it is. So yeah, it's going to scoot around, even these tight trees we have here, pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree. They do feel pretty light.
Yeah.
I think the weight figure for a single pair of these 180s comes out in the, it's like 1850, 1830 range. So not like the lightest, but certainly not the heaviest. You know, skis with 2 full sheets of metal come in a couple 100 grams heavier than this. So it definitely adds to its agility. I think it's a really valuable ski for Black Crows in their lineup. Kind of, you know, like to piggyback off what we were saying at the beginning about how they were saying like this is going to be our best-selling ski.
Right.
I think it probably will be because I think it will satisfy a really wide range of skiers.
Yeah.
Like I had fun on it. I don't know if it's like a better match for my skiing style than the Justice. You know,
Right.
I like that extra tail rocker. But I absolutely had a blast skiing on this, and if someone was like, you can only ski on the Serpo next year, that's it, I'd be like, okay, like that's fine. But then, you know, I think of somebody like Benny Wax, retired guy in his 60s, very technically good skier, but not like aggressive.
Yeah.
And he's also not like skiing crazy things in the woods. I think somebody like that could really enjoy it too and really benefit from it.
Yeah.
So I think you get a wide range of people that can get on the Serpo and really enjoy it. And it does just feel like a true versatile all-mountain ski.
Yeah, and I think they're going for that with that 93 millimeter waist.
Yeah.
And we talk about it a lot, that mid-90s range is where they're hitting that one ski quiver as hard as they can.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like when we talk about the Enforcers, it's like, you know, I have an 88 and a 100.
But you could just have a 94.
I could just have a 94.
Right.
So same theory holds true with this, where you could have an Orb and a Justice, or you could just have the Serpo.
Yeah.
Or you could have all three. You know, I'm not going to stop anyone from buying 3 pairs of skis by any stretch, but
right.
You know, this feels like the one to have.
Yeah.
And you know, like you said, for you maybe it's a Justice, but I value a little bit more quickness in my skis, so I might gravitate towards this.
Right. I asked you this question before we started filming. Is it the most normal ski that Black Crows makes?
It feels pretty normal. You know, I had a pretty normal experience on the Cactus and the Camex as well. You know, that the Camex kind of being that, you know, again, mid to upper 90s, somewhat twin tip feel, and then the Cactus being a lighter, quicker version of this. You know, but definitely a lot of normalcy with this Serpo in terms of a mid-90s underfoot all mountain ski.
And I mean that only in a positive
Yeah.
sense.
Yep.
You know, normal is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that as like a downfall to the ski. I think it's fair to say that Black Crows makes a lot of skis with really specific intentions.
Right.
It's like, here's the Anima.
Yeah.
It's a powerful big mountain ski. Here's the Atris. This is our playful powder ski.
Yeah.
You know, here's the Nocta. It's our super surfy powder ski. Like each ski in their line feels like it has a pretty specific goal, where this just feels like it's a fun ski. You know, you can take it and do anything on it.
And Black Crows is interesting because we get a lot of comments of people that will say, I want a Black Crows ski.
Right.
And I'm not exactly sure which one.
Right.
Whereas someone else would say, I'm interested in an Enforcer 94. You know, they have that ski down to the model and width.
Yeah.
Whereas with Black Crows, they know that they're looking for they know that this company makes different skis.
Right.
And so they're looking for something that's particular to their skiing style. And that's where this company really stands out amongst the rest, is that they're making these particular skis for a particular person.
Right.
So I think that's one of the reasons why they're saying this is going to be, here's our best-selling ski.
Totally.
And I think they've done a really nice job with it.
I think the most skiers can enjoy it, and it's appropriate in the widest variety of terrain. You know, with like the Camex being kind of like the Camex Cactus. Both of those skis are pretty darn versatile too. So a little quicker edge to edge than the Justice. A little snappier, a little more energetic.
Yep.
Loses a little bit of the burly factor, but I think that's fine, because I would say if they're if we saw any negative feedback about the Justice, it was from less aggressive skiers who found it a little too much.
Right.
Like even among our testing, there are some people on our staff who skied it and were like, that's a really good ski, but that was tiring and demanding.
Right.
And then you take that same skier and put them on a Serpo, and all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, this is much easier. So yeah, great ski.
Yeah, and you'll lose some flotation if you're that skier,
Sure.
and some smeariness, but again, how often is that the case that you're skiing
Right.
in snow that requires that type of performance? So
Exactly. Yeah, it's the Black Crows Serpo. Bob, anything you want to leave them with?
Nope, traditional Black Crows styling. It's a great looking ski. And then I was thinking about our test day as well, that our media day was -50, and then our ski test day was +50. So we had 100-degree differentiation in temperatures between when we first got on this and then when we next did. So
And all that footage is in this video, so you guys got to watch a 100-degree difference in skiing.
such is life as winter in Vermont.
Yep. So yeah, great ski. Bob, great to have you back in the studio.
Good to be back. Look forward to more.
Let us know if you have any questions about the Serpo. I am sure there will be questions. It definitely feels like there's a lot of skis that you can compare this to.
Yep.
Forcer 94, Rustler 9.
Yep. We could go on.
Mindbender 90. All those skis in that range. So pretty exciting new addition for Black Crows, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.